HIIT, I think the reason it worked well for me, and it works for a lot of people, is the fact that it teaches you how to grind. You're putting effort in, so you have to rely on effort, and you have to be, let's say, a little more perfect because you have less to work with. You only have 1 or 2 sets. You have to make it happen. Otherwise, yeah, you're not going to go anywhere. If
Right.
you have 5 sets, then yeah, there's a little more wiggle room for error. Okay, if I candy ass it the first 2 or 3 sets, well, I still have 4 or 5 sets to maybe get in some effective reps. So a lot of times when people look at my volume, and for me, high volume would be, let's say, 3 sets. And that's maybe for other people not high volume, but for me it is. That's my baselines. When I do 2 sets or 1 set, they'll look at it and go, how is that enough? But they're not really, I don't think they're really paying attention like to the quality of movement plus the effort level, like how I basically going all the way to failure or very close to it. Like I can do 1 or 2 sets like that, and it's gonna feel as if I did, let's say, 4 sets with less effort, like 1 or 2 reps in reserve or 3 reps in reserve. Then the question becomes, what's more effective? I have no clue. I have no idea. All I can tell you is that when I feel really good, and let's say I don't have a lot of time to train, I'm going to use HIIT because you can do a short amount of work and it can be highly effective. It's demanding, no doubt, so you definitely need to make sure you're recovering from it. But if I have, let's say, my body's not feeling up to speed, or I'm a little achy or what have you, and I have a little more luxury to train, then I might say, you know what, I'm going to do a little more volume and I'm just going to back off the intensity. And I can tell you this, like doing it in this fashion the last 10 or 11, 12 years now, whatever it's been, my physique hasn't regressed. And I'm 50.
Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Yeah.
And I'm 50. So I always go back to, okay, what's really going to cause regression or atrophy? No training whatsoever. Or you're just really have no effort in the gym whatsoever. Like you're just going through the motions. You're underfed maybe, things like that. And that's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to actually see atrophy. So even if I'm doing 1 set and it's a lot of effort behind it, I'm not going backwards. It's 1 more set added to my account. So I think people, what they fear is like the rate of progress. But again, when I look at my perspective of being 50 years old with 35 years of training, that's a lot to look back on, right? So I'm very secure with the approach because of my history. But someone who's been training for maybe a year, 2 years, they don't have that experience behind them. So that's where the insecurities come in, because they don't know yet. And that's why I always say, like, don't fear the unknown. Be willing to experiment. Be willing to experiment with higher volumes. I think that people have an easier time doing that because they think oftentimes more is better, but there's a fear of doing less because they think they're going to go backwards. But again, if you're training with effort, regardless if you're cutting your volume down by a quarter, third, half, I don't think you're going to see atrophy. If anything, you're going to find answers out. Like, one, you might find out, you know what, I actually recover better and I'm seeing more progress. Or you might say, you know what, I'm not moving forward. I can tell my physique isn't doing better. I actually maybe look a little flatter or whatever. Then you know, okay, lower volume doesn't work. Put more volume back in there. But people are just fearful of kind of running change, but running their own trials because they want to rely on what everybody is saying on social media. The mentor was like 1 set to just ultimate failure, and he would train like, people would be training like once every 5 days or something like that. Like I was never, like we were never like that. Like the guy that I trained with, it was like he had an each body part once per week.